It's a life mentality is what keeps us together.
All right, we're live.
Ooh, we're live.
How was everyone's weekend?
Right. What? Why did you have to start it like that?
What's going on?
Right.
Now I feel like I didn't hear about all of that happened with your weekend.
Right.
With that.
That was said before the question, so that has nothing to do with either.
Your
Nothing
weekend
happened.
sounds scandalous.
I wish. Although I will say we walked all of New York, and I was like,
All five boroughs?
No, I'm just saying it felt like it.
Did he make you get some cheesecake? That's what it sounded like over
Yes,
there.
it did feel like that. I was like,
No,
I
it
don't
did
want
feel
no
like that.
juniors.
Wait.
I don't want no juniors.
Can I please tell you that? Okay, so yesterday I went somewhere and we were talking, and this dude looked at me and looked at us collectively and said,
Who's us?
Right.
it was my sister and her girlfriend. But he looked at us and says, no Diddy. I was like, oh my God, people are going to have to use that forever now.
Oh, you heard it in the wild?
Have you not been hearing
I
that?
did.
Oh, I've heard it. I haven't heard it in the wild. I've only heard it online.
Yeah.
Also, did he say something sexual about you guys?
No,
Oh,
it wasn't like,
I was like, then
it
that's
wasn't
not the
crazy, but it
right
was,
application.
What was the context?
I'm trying, to be honest with you, I'm trying to remember, but it was just, I just noted that he said something no Diddy. And I was like, oh, wow.
Welcome to this space.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Well, sorry.
Well, not speaking of Diddy. Should we get this episode started?
Yep.
Or-
No Diddy. I'm so old.
Hey, it's Aya.
Hey, it's Tiffany.
I'm Nicole,
I'm Carol.
and this is what keeps us together.
Basically, the group chat in your head.
Living rent free.
Ow.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment if you love things and if you want to hear some other things.
Let us know. We're trying to hear from you.
This week's episode is not sponsored by, but it should be Starbucks. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a long weekend.
It has a long weekend of shenanigans.
Yes, shenanigans.
And I'm tired, so
Us?
gonna do my
Weekends.
best.
I love shenanigans for you. I also love your glasses. Wait a minute.
Shenanigans are up.
Yeah.
Where'd you get those from?
Yeah, I was trying to
Thank
see
you.
if I was like, have I seen these before?
Yeah.
Okay. The emerald is popping.
It is.
I'm not even gonna hold you.
I
Thank
like
you.
it.
Looks very nice.
I don't wear
Yeah.
glasses there just because I'm tired.
What?
To hide my tired eyes.
I mean, okay.
So I just look like this.
I woke up like this.
Tired.
I enjoy good aesthetic. All right. So today's topic, we are talking about women's basketball, mainly the WNBA, but also including in there college. But what song for this week? I don't know. What do you think? Something that makes you want to ball, want to go out there, win, hustle
some
hard,
balls.
makes you hype, something along those lines.
Come on,
But-
DJ Khaled.
Hey,
Okay, I'll go first, just because mine is probably the corniest. But
we the best. I'm sorry.
no, it's not that one. It's the we playing basketball.
Wow, you really stole it from me. That was really crazy of you. I really should have never said that mine was from the Love and Basketball soundtrack. That was wild.
Wait, no, I didn't know that's where
Wow.
it was from.
Dang. What
No, to be
It'd
honest
be
with you,
your own friends.
I didn't even know that was on the soundtrack.
That's fine.
Here we are.
Good song, good song.
Here we are. Who wants to go next?
I really thought it was the other song that I was singing. That's crazy. Okay, anyway.
I guess I can go since Tiff doesn't have one anymore. Mine was Take It to the House, Trick Daddy and Trina.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, when I played in high school, like, that was on our like coming out playlist.
Really?
It's one of my favorite songs.
Am I?
to warm
Take
up
it to the
to.
house. That's
Yeah.
what.
Take it to the house.
Take it to the house.
Take it to the house.
I think mine is gonna be a throwback as well, but I think it's gonna be Boop. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a hype song for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel like it was part of like
okay.
You know what else is a good
You just go
one?
somewhere? Or?
No, I mean, think about the song. Y'all haven't seen the video.
no, but I feel like that's the song
Yeah.
that like
Yeah,
when I
that's
was
why.
in middle school, like the white gym teacher would play like during PE.
That's true. That's really real.
I feel like they always played that song.
That's fact.
We didn't have music during PE during my time. So.
Not during
boombox
my
didn't
time.
exist.
Okay,
None of the
but
boombox existed. We didn't
No,
play
like CD,
we
PA
didn't
systems
play.
back then.
We didn't play music during PE. You had music in your head.
not in your
Damn.
head.
Oh.
You know, another one, the controversial Tootsie Roll. And I only say it's controversial because nobody knows whether or not it's cotton candy sweet and low or cotton candy sweet as gold. I'm sure people have corrected other people, but people are going to sing
That's a
whatever
really
they
good
say.
point.
It's not sweet and low.
Exactly. That's what I'm about to say. I didn't realize that there was controversy.
What are the words?
I
But
didn't know that either.
now you're
It's
making me.
allegedly cotton candy sweet as gold. Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
Sweet as gold.
Now I need to look
How
at the
is
lyrics.
gold sweet? That doesn't even make sense.
I don't know.
Sweet and low. Y'all are wrong.
It says cotton candy sweetie go. Let me see the Tootsie Roll.
It's
Is
none
what
of them.
option C
Okay.
is what the internet
All
says.
right. So sweet. I would take
What
sweet
is
as
Sweetie
and
go. Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
I'll take that. That's way better than
Okay,
sweet
so-
as gold.
Striking out.
Sweet and low. I got the artificial sweetener version.
Cotton candy? Like what?
You got that diabetic.
Yeah. The
Not
pink,
the diabetic.
the pink pack.
Goes well with coffee. Mine is Trophies by Drake. I feel like
Oh.
when that song was out, they were playing it during the NBA games all the time. And so you still hear it. Like,
And now all I
Championship
see
games.
is the meme of Drake when he was on the sidelines. You don't remember? You don't?
oh yeah.
I'm about to
Sorry,
say.
it took me a second, but
There's
there's a lot of Drake memes. That's just not the
A
first one
lot
that
of
comes to my
them.
mind. So
Well, I just thought about him just being there all the time, and all his memes of him on the sidelines is like, "Sir, sit down. Just watch the game."
He's a coach. He's like the proud mom, dad
Right.
on the
He-
sideline
he has
cheering
some-
on their
Not
kid.
mom, dad.
I think he has some stake in the Raptors, right?
I feel like he's
Yeah.
more like the guy who wished he could play
Yes.
ball and
Yes.
then the
And
friends,
that's
all the
exactly
ballers.
why that meme is what I think about.
Yeah.
Because it just looks like that. That's
That's fair.
exactly what he looks
Fair
like.
enough.
All right, who's gonna start us off on the topic?
I can start us off. I guess first we just want to talk about like outside of WNBA, just women's sports because they're up. We up right now. And I
Yes.
love that for women. Because it's not just basketball. It's also we've been seeing it in tennis with Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff. In soccer, like the women's soccer league is been getting a lot of play, a lot of support. They've been selling out stadiums. That league is growing. And
It's
then
way
of
better
course
than the men's, but come on, I mean,
the NCAA women's basketball, I think like all year or all of last year, we were hearing about how a lot of people couldn't even name like players on the men's NCAA that were notable. But we knew a lot of the women's
Should've been
names.
at
And I
least.
was like, that is like, it's probably the first time that that's ever happened in my
Yeah.
lifetime, or maybe ever. And so I thought that that was like a big deal. And we're seeing that transition into the WNBA, which I think is really powerful. And again, is not usually how it transitions. So
for sure.
we just, as WNBA is blowing up, we've been seeing them on ESPN. There's Caitlin Clark interviews every 2 days. Angela Reese is going to Meg Thee Stallion concerts and the Met Gala. Like there's a lot that's happening in the WNBA and they've been getting a lot of shine. So we thought that it was timely to do a topic on them.
For sure.
For sure, for sure.
Especially because I think for years, especially with the WNBA, there's always been this talk of, oh, they're not gonna, that no one's gonna really watch that league or no one really cares about the WNBA.
Women can't dunk. No one's trying to see that.
Right. Like there's always been this disparaging talk about the league, which has been, I think they've been there since 98 or 99, maybe even before that. Can't remember now. I'll have to look that up. But
I feel like before because I was going little,
okay. So
but I was little then.
I was
so
supposed to
don't
say,
know.
weren't you born in 1990?
Right.
89.
Mm.
Disrespect me. I'm an 80s baby.
My bad.
Barely.
Yeah. Let's see. What year did it start? 97. Damn.
Still young.
Well, I was there.
Yeah.
Opening year, apparently.
You guys are founding members.
Season tickets to the Mexicans didn't even know that it was the first year.
But that's so interesting because I think a lot of people, the entryway into being able to be a fan was very easy at that time. Whereas the NBA having been available for so many years, it's grabbed the attention of so many people that it's difficult to go to an NBA game versus the WNBA was something that was easily available for young girls to be able to go to because parents are like, oh, it's
difficult
not
as in pricing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The price point. You're not unless you are of certain
Has it always been like that?
I feel like unless your team is good, because
Wizards games you can go tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and back then, like when they were the Bullets and they were better, or earlier, even more recent years when we've had competitive teams, like you can find a Wizard ticket for $25.
Redskins too.
Yeah,
I mean Commanders. Sorry.
Yeah. So maybe it's because we live in a disappointing professional sports
But it's
area.
always
Not
disappointing.
disappointing.
That's
We've
what I'm
also
saying.
been
But like
good.
we've spread the gamut of like good and
We've seen
bad.
range.
So like at some point you could go to any of these games.
You're
for an affordable
saying
price.
that, but you don't remember what it costs to get into a WNBA game. It would be very, very cheap. It's not the same
Typically,
level
yeah.
of cheap as the NBA.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying.
So that's my only, like, you could
Here,
take, I've seen
specifically.
people taking groups of like 10 little girls to the game. That's a lot easier
Yes.
to do than it is for NBA. That was my only
I
point.
hear you.
I'm pretty
So-
sure we
That's
did
a good
that
point.
as a
And-
collective at some point because it was so cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been to a WNBA game.
Mm.
Whoa.
And there speaks to the other side of that as well.
Yeah, because I was like, I am admittedly a bandwagon fan
Okay.
coming in now.
We'll accept it. We'll accept it.
Because of just, I feel like I'm seeing more. Which
Sure.
is, and I am embarrassed by this a little bit, but I don't think I've ever been to a WNBA game. But I would love to go now. Like I'm looking at, like, I want to get an Angel Reese jersey. Like I want to like really be a fan of the Washington Mystics. I've been following more of them on Instagram and just trying to like become more educated on who they are, who these women are, like in our area. I'm seeing that they're playing more at Cap One now because more people want to go to the game. So
Mhm.
I don't even know where they play regularly.
St. Elizabeth's.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
They built a whole stadium for them.
For them.
And the stadium is like great. I mean, the stadium is really nice.
Separate but
it's not
equal is what they did to them.
Okay, calm down. That's not what they did. What they did was they built them their
Man.
own stadium so that instead of playing in a bigger arena where it feels empty because there aren't a lot of people packing it out, they built a stadium that is more conducive to the size of audience that they were pulling in so that it really feels like there's no bad seat in the house. You feel like you're really part of the game. Like the energy is better because it's
More intimate.
yeah, it's like more conducive to the crowd size that they had.
I never saw
I
them
love the word
play where the men
intimate.
play at all before they built that new stadium. They were always at Georgetown whenever I went to a game.
The last time I went to a playoff game a couple years ago when the Mystics were playing. I can't remember who they played, but they lost, and they were at George Mason.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I
Mason's
don't
far.
know that they've ever. I know that they have played when the men play, but it is not
Yeah.
very often. Most games were somewhere else.
Well, I
Like-
appreciate that now they're going to be there. It's more accessible. Cap One is way easier to get to than George Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More people can go. I'm
Well.
seeing now they're doing those brunch experiences where you can eat,
Which is
and
really,
play.
really smart.
Yeah, I think that's a
Give me
good
some
time
names.
too.
Oh,
So
Yeah. And in conjunction with all that, just like you sent me back to the past, actually, like remembering going to games with like my like little cousin, like my dad would take us, and it was so accessible. Like I remember
Yeah.
like having a WNBA ball and like Nikki McCrary and Shamika Holsclaw like signing it. Like it just like those are like very legendary women's basketball players and that were played for the Mystics, and just like having the accessibility that they would like.
come sign
I
your
went and knew that they were going to sign my ball by the time I left. It
Right.
wasn't like hopefully, you know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
like,
There's like no-
hopefully they see it and I can like throw my headband to them and they sign. You know what I mean? It was like, oh no, I'm going to probably give her a high five.
Right. For sure, we're gonna have an interaction by the end of this game.
Yeah.
It's no question.
So do you think them moving is going to decrease availability or
Accessibility?
accessibility rather?
I think it's going to increase it because St. E's isn't that accessible. You don't have to have a car, but like if you want to.
No, I
Even
don't
to
mean
the
getting there. I
players,
mean to the
right?
players.
Oh, I mean, I don't even know what that's like right now, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'm
I
not
think
at the
it's
age where I'm
different.
trying to
Right.
get a high five
Fair.
from a player. So I don't really
It's
have a point of
not. It's
comparison.
not on the NBA level, but it is definitely not the same as it used to be. Like you would have to wait a lot longer to be able to possibly get the same type of access.
Yeah.
Because the last game I went to, I know for a fact it was packed. There was not a lot of let's try to stay, because you were like everyone's going to try to stay
True.
and get
And I imagine it's
something
probably
signed.
like that, like when Caitlin Clark comes to play,
for
or
sure.
Sabrina Ionescu, and like things like that. But even like if you go to a Washington Spirit game, there's a high likelihood that you'll have Trinity and a lot of those players sign your stuff afterwards too. So it just I don't know what the I don't have a little girl, so I don't like know what the dynamics are for trying to get stuff signed at a WNBA game anymore.
Right.
But I know for like soccer, it's still very accessible.
Sounds like a what keeps us date.
I want to go. I just saw that they moved the Chicago Sky. They moved that game to Cap 1 too, I believe.
Let's go. I think it would
So,
be
like,
really fun.
yeah.
And
I'll
a
tell
Washington
you,
Spirit game like that, even if like soccer is not your thing, Audi Field is a great place to experience live sports.
No,
Like,
I
it
wanna
is-
go. I was
It
just
is
over there.
so much fun. I think Patrick even went to a XFL game there and said it was really great. It's
Yeah.
another place where it's like there's no bad seat in the house, and there's a lot of really great food options, and then there's just a lot to do in that area. They really did their big one with that stadium built.
My brother has season tickets to the Defenders.
Oh, okay.
So he's there all the time. He's telling me how great that stadium is.
Yeah,
So
it's
I wanna
really,
go.
really nice.
Mm.
I think their next game is like June 15th, if that means anything to y'all. And Alex Morgan's team will be, that don't mean anything to you.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm down. Either way.
All right, great.
But since you guys are like, I don't know, I think, Nicole, are you also a bandwagon fan?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yay.
2 bandwagon fans to 2 like real fans.
Yeah.
Are you guys annoyed that there's so many people
No.
like jumping on the bandwagon
No.
now?
Not at all.
No.
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
I think for me,
That's good.
remembering how the league
Yes.
started, and there was even questions as to whether or not it was going to stick around. I never understood. I was like, I love watching basketball, but then I also love watching women play, and we play as hard. There were so many players who you're just like Shamika Holskull, Dawn Stanley. Like, these women have always played the game well, to the point where there was even, I can't remember, there was one player they were even considering years ago of letting her play in the NBA because she was just that good. This is pre-Caitlin. So for there to never be the same hype was always so weird to me. It just felt like dystopian. Like, I don't understand how there's a disconnect. Like, you can watch college and be so hyped for college, right? We had great coaches. We had Pat. We have before Dawn, there's oh gosh, why is his name? I can't remember his name for Connecticut, but like, there were so many great coaches, but that wasn't transferring over to the players for some reason. But they were great players when they were in college. And then when they get to the WNBA, it was like people just stopped watching. And I never understood that.
Well, I think a lot of it is like, well, I don't know how many people were watching NCAA women, but there's that. But I also think that there's a conversation that happens with women's sports that doesn't happen with men's sports, where it's like men who are very sedentary and play video games all day will be like, oh, I could take her. But no one says that about like LeBron. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like there's like this like
Michael Jordan
mental
does.
like switch that like does like has kind of tipped where people are like, oh no, she would eat me up. And I feel like things like Sabrina Ionescu going toe to toe with Stephen Curry in the 3-point. I don't know if you all saw it last year during the All-Star weekend last year. They do the 3-point
Mhm.
challenge,
Mhm.
but outside of that challenge last year, there was a 3-point head off, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Where, it was this year. Sorry. Where
Yes, it was this year.
Stephen Curry and Sabrina Ionescu went head to head, and she lost, but like I think by 2 baskets, and her losing was the actual number of baskets that the 3-point like actual challenge. It was the same number that all those niggas hit.
Mm-hmm.
It was just her losing to Stephen
Steph
Curry.
Curry. Right. It's like-
So like it was, and she was shooting a men's ball. Or either she was shooting a men's ball or she was shooting from the men's line.
From the men's line, I
I
think.
can't remember which. So like, I feel like challenges like that, while annoying and should not be necessary, help kind of bring the conversation forward of like, no, this is how good these women are.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they can even like go with the best of the men.
Right.
And so I feel like that was very timely leading into March Madness and now leading
Yeah.
into WNBA. So it's kind of just like building on top of each other from my perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because for me, in both high school and college, our women's basketball team were better than the men. So at Shaw, everyone went to the women's games. Like, and as soon as the women's games were over, everyone left because the men just like weren't as good, or like the men would play first and the girls would come, and the gym would be packed because our girls were really, really good. But I don't know. I think maybe because we had like a personal tie to it for us, like where it felt, I don't even
know the women.
Yeah, like we actually know them. I see them every day. So it's like a personal tie versus watching a WNBA game where I don't know who they are. Like for me, maybe that was the difference for me because I went to every single women's basketball game at my school, but just like it just wasn't the same watching it on TV.
But I think that that's what's happening now, right? Like you know more women's basketball players' backstories, and you're seeing more of them and being able to like build their story. You're rooting for people subconsciously, maybe consciously, in a lot of different ways than we ever have been before because they're getting more media view.
That's a good point. Yeah, like there's a personal, like men, like you have a personal tie to them, so you want to root for them, you want to support them, you want to do all those things.
And that's why I don't dislike any bandwagoner, because what's also happening is it's not like you're bandwagoning because the Mystics are up and so you're just like a fan of the Mystics right now. It's like you are rooting for personal people who you're seeing grow and develop into the league, and that's a lot of what happened with us when we were playing basketball. We know a lot of basketball players who came from the NCAAs. You fell in love with them in the finals or March Madness, and then you kind of transitioned and watched them to see what they were going to do once they got to the league. And so like it's nice to finally have that kind of like crescendo and trajectory happen for women.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think another thing about it for me as well is that I think the media is also recognizing it as well and is putting these people in, and I know you guys kind of said this before, but are putting these names in a space that's equal to the men, right? Like I can think about, I saw somebody today put up, or I think you guys shared it, a poll about, did you start rooting for Caitlyn before or after the fight with her and Angel Reese? But I remember
the fight, the game.
Well, yes,
the media is like competition between
the pushing of each other, or at least putting each other against one another outside of the game. But nonetheless, I can remember Caitlyn being on the top 10 plays on ESPN. Like you would see.
Oh wow! I don't even know the last time I saw that.
Right. It's one of my favorite things from ESPN.
No, I love when I catch it. I just forget.
Yeah, I'm not an ESPN diehard fan. Like I don't watch any of the interviews, but for me, that's always fun. I always love seeing people do really, really well. And I remember seeing, them talk about her early on, and I was like, I don't know who this girl is, but she's throwing up threes from way back. And I was like, okay, all right, okay.
What year of her career, college career was it?
I believe this might have been at least, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. Probably like 2 years ago.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So her sophomore?
Junior year.
Okay.
So it wasn't necessarily that I was like, oh, I really, am rooting for her, but it was just like, oh, this is something that we're highlighting and it's sticking in my mind.
Sure.
And I think that that's what wasn't really happening for the WNBA in that way. And throwing up threes, I don't know if that's because we're also in this point where we're not seeing as much of like the dunk contest being as big of a big as a thing as
it sucks.
Right. But I think the game is shifting, right? I think that the game is shifting from the NBA game is shifting from being more from dunks to more of the Steph Currys. Like we're caring more about that.
I would argue that it's shifted and is now about to pendulum back.
Okay. All right. And that they may be the case, but that I think also helped put Caitlyn on the map, right? Like the majority of the way in which we're looking at the game has shifted a bit. So she's become, like it used to be dunking. So you did see some women dunking, but it still wasn't enough of a highlight because I think that the NBA game had already shifted away from dunking and had moved to the threes. And so you're now hearing about her, and as much as you may or may not like that individuals care about her a lot, I think that why it's important is because that's where the mindset was. People are really concerned about the three.
Right.
And she's doing something spectacular on the court mid games that most people are not doing. So that highlighted, I think, her career for a lot of people who did not really look at the women's game before now.
So sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just had a question piggybacking off that because again, not that familiar her and Angel Reese, because that's what's up on Shade Room. That's where I started. I was wondering why, again, because my entry into it has been skewed to Black media, right? So I only see a lot of the Black players. I don't know when she became the golden child of women's basketball. So I was also wondering, like, when you saw her, was it the 2 years ago or 3 or whatever? Like, has it always been Caitlin, and people, because of her and who she's playing, people are recognizing more players, or have they centered in on her? Because she hasn't been the only women's player that I've seen. But again, most of my stuff is coming from Black media, so I don't see just her.
Right.
So you probably know more about this, so I'm just gonna jump in really quick with. Well, before it was Caitlin, it was Sabrina Ionescu. Before she went to the pro league,
And she is Caucasian.
Yeah, she plays for the Liberty now, but she, very similarly to Caitlin, was really known for shooting threes from men's line and further out.
Okay.
So kind of similarly to that. However, I don't think Sabrina broke the all points in the NCAA record, which is what Caitlin did, which is why the notoriety shot through the roof.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I think, honestly, I think that this is just a combination of the right person, right time. I don't necessarily believe that it is specifically her, to your point. I think it is just kind of where we're at. I also look at it as a thing of, prior to Caitlin being in the forefront of most conversations, I do remember a lot of people getting behind the Aces who are in Vegas. And they've won the last two times, right? And what was happening a little bit before that was that there was a push to kind of get members of that team kind of in the forefront of conversations. And so before, we had like a Rebecca Lobo and Leslie. We've had all of
Candace.
those. Right. We've had a ton of people.
I remember Skylar, because everyone was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful.
Right. And but Skylar really wasn't, they were pushing her forward because she was pretty, but they weren't having serious conversations about or knowing them as people. That wasn't really happening until I feel like the doubleheader with the Aces. And so you start seeing people, even before Caitlin really, to me, hit her crescendo in her season. The Aces were on Usher's stage after they won last year. Like, there was all of this, like, was kind of just building. I feel like it all kind of built. And then you have Caitlin starting to have her numbers hitting record-breaking things. So it's kind of like everything kind of, to me, it feels like everything just kind of slowly was rolling into this direction where women were getting more views, we're getting more highlights. And so the thing that I think that the right time for me is what I'm thinking everything is.
There's also that there was Asia
Wilson.
Right? Yeah, she's on the Aces. And then Kelsey Plum.
Yes, and Sid Colson.
But I think with Asia and Kelsey, we started seeing more of their personalities, because Kelsey also got married, I think, last year, and she got married to an NFL player. So like people were like following that story, and we're starting to see, like, I think this year is the first year that I'm starting to see like WNBA fits of like them coming down the tunnel before games.
Yeah. Like, it's not the first year, but it's probably more.
It's the first year I'm starting to see it. Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying it's the first year that they've been styling, because obviously not. But
same though.
Yeah, I just feel like I feel like what has also helped is that Las Vegas is really, I mean, it's Las Vegas, right? So they're also really good with their marketing opportunities and making sure that people know that when you come to Vegas, like, this is also something to see and do.
Right. That's true.
And I don't know that all cities are as good at capitalizing on that in the way that they are.
Yeah. I was reading an article on the Caitlin Clark effect to get ready for this podcast, just to kind of get more on her. And the New York Times did an article that I thought was interesting. And they were saying, not just Caitlin's a great player, so I don't want to take away from that. I think everyone agrees that she's an amazing basketball player. They're also saying the WNBA has struggled a little bit because it's all women, LGBTQ players. And so they don't know how to necessarily market this LGBTQ to everyone, because it's more of a like libertarian.
Also bad.
They're Black and they're gay. So it's like, how do I do this without isolating the conservative market? And they were saying
soccer has struggled the same way.
So they were saying about Caitlin specifically, she is a white, straight woman who's great at the sport. So it's like, she's easy to market and push.
Huh?
Saya has feelings.
She's not.
So-
Thoughts and feelings and
well,
concerns.
this is what the New York Times said. So I'm just saying of another aspect
She's straight
of
passing. Is that what you're saying?
it. Okay, well, presumably.
She's
Okay, I do not know this woman's sexuality. I'm just saying what
Sorry.
we are presuming about her.
Oh,
And
yeah,
why
I
they
can
are
see
pushing her
that.
forward because she is easily digestible to a lot of people that maybe in the past the WNBA has not been able to
For sure.
get to that segment
sure.
of the
For sure.
market. Now, please
For sure.
go forth with that information
Yes.
as you will.
And
Yes.
assumptions as you will.
I mean, yes. So if you even think about the NBA at its infancy, right? It was segregated, right? And it was profitable because it was segregated, and you could build up what you needed to with the economically. Wow, that was a mess up completely. Economically, with people who already had a large amount of money to be able to pour into this thing. So it did then shifted when there were African American men who were allowed to finally play. But I think that the fan base and how you even developed the league in itself to get to the point where it was number one, because that wasn't the only league, right? Like the NBA had there were other leagues besides the NBA that were available for basketball, but it became to the forefront when it allowed more Black people to play, and you're spreading out your athleticism. Oh wow,
Athleticism.
Thank you. I don't know, words mean things. I'm trying my best.
Real words mean things.
Real words. So I'm trying to find the real word. I don't know why I can't.
It's
right
okay.
now.
We know what you mean.
But yeah, so it to me, what I feel like because the WNBA did not start until way after all of the NBA, and then you're, to Carol's point, you're having to include, not having to, the best players are the players who mainly a white conservative media is having to try to figure out how to
Market.
They don't, there's no way in for them, right? Because most of the players are probably more than 50% of the players are Black. Probably more than 50% of the players are on some type of spectrum. It may not be, lesbian, but they may be somewhere in between.
I have a lot of feelings about it.
I have a ton of feelings about it, but that's where that's where we're at. I never understood, but that's also coming from a Black lesbian who is like, if you're going to put these people out here to let us play, just pander to the audience that you have and worry about the rest of it later.
But I also feel like, part of the WNBA got started and they were partially being funded by the NBA. So like the actual funding piece is like less, I won't say it's less of a concern. Obviously you want it to be like self-funded and like
For sure.
its own audience to be able to pull in like whatever you need. But the other aspect of that is like, I would almost argue that the WNBA at its initiation was probably less on the spectrum than it is now.
What?
Meaning more than or less than?
Like there was probably less queer people then than now, at least out. And then and then when we're talking about
key, maybe out.
But that's what we're talking. We were just talking about that same thing with Caitlin Clark, right? So like at the same time, if that's what you're trying to play into with your audience and like what is marketable, then you have more to work with if those are the parameters for what you think is marketable. And also by that time, we've already seen Jordan's numbers and what Black forefront sponsorship and deals with brands and media can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So also like less locked in than what it would be at the NBA's inception. So I don't know that those are like actually the parameters and what they were working with. I think that we're also leaving out like the big aspect of pure gender.
Oh,
A lot of men aren't going to go sit in a stadium and watch women play sports at that time.
and they don't, to your point, what you said earlier is they don't think that they can ball. Right? So there's already this preconceived notion of what that is. But I think that added to that, if you already feel like they can't ball, then you include in the fact that they were mostly, the numbers are about the same, suppressed. Because I've even heard that they weren't allowed to wear certain things even to the WNBA draft. Like you had to dress a certain way
I believe that.
to go to the. So it is this media also saying, hey, we don't believe everyone else is ready, so you need to be a certain way.
That's ridiculous.
For an entry point, instead of there being any individualism. So to your point, it is women being told what to do in a league that's supposed to be for them. I don't think that they got, really what I think is that they weren't allowed to be themselves until recently.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I wholeheartedly believe all of that, because I don't even think the perspective of starting a women's league is a league for you. It's Title IX, and we saw an opportunity to maybe make some more dollars. We know that like women in sports is like increasing. We've seen what it can do. We know that there's a market of young girls that are more into playing sports and can capitalize on this small quadrant, and that's what we'll focus on. I really think that the WNBA league was intended for it to be this sweetheart league for young girls, moms, minivans.
It's giving sports a league of their own in 1997.
Yeah.
I'm confused. You don't think the players being gay has anything to do with people not supporting them?
Me?
Yeah, I guess I'm confused by that point.
I'm not saying that it doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm just saying, like, I think that there are larger swaths of what's happening than just that.
Oh, I don't think that's the only thing. I just think that has something to do with it.
Yeah. At the point that we were talking about largely gender and them being gay. But I just really think that them being, sorry, did I say gender? I'm going to say race and them being gay. But I really think that gender had a lot more to do with it than either of those 2 points, because what we had seen in terms of like sponsorship and advertising for Black people by that point. And then at that time, it's very different than it is now. So there were some people obviously that were out and comfortably gay in 97, but there are a lot of people who probably are out now that weren't out at that time. So I'm just saying it wasn't like a leading, it's easier. You have Lisa Leslie, who is the face of the league. That's not an accident. She's not queer. So there's obviously like people to choose from if you want them to be the face of this thing and you're trying to avert from people that are queer.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that point. I'm just saying I think there's a lot of assumption that women who play basketball are gay.
Yeah.
Like even in college, I think that I feel like a lot of more women that were straight had an issue trying to not convince people, but it's like saying that I am, even just because I play a sport well at this level, I'm, you know what I mean? Like I'm not. Sure. So I feel like that.
I like the men's.
Say that one more time. Sorry. One more time.
Look right into the camera when you say it.
Please, actually look into the camera and please confess. Confess your love. So I just think that I feel like you can't negate that point either. Like that's not a huge portion of why they may not be getting as much play or conversations around or trying to figure out how to market a group of people that are even to this day are being marginalized and can't. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm not trying to say that that's obviously not something that they are playing into. All I'm saying is that they found the face that was not that, right? So like, it still isn't the only thing that is preventing an entire audience of people from coming.
No, I understand.
I think added to that as well, there is, I didn't even realize it until I said it, but that whole League of Their Own, like if you've watched that movie, A League of Their Own, the issue that comes into play is that it is for pure entertainment until the men come back, right? Like it's all the things we're talking about as far as entry points into it being a more successful league is the same ones the same issues we are having now with the WNBA, or had with the WNBA, right? It was, we as the media think that it should go this way. We want to make money off it, but we think it should go this way instead of letting it really be as organic as it possibly can.
But white media gets it wrong with predominantly Black spaces all the time.
All the time.
They never learn.
No.
They never learn.
No.
They don't have
what you think it's going to be.
No. They don't take organically going in and being like, hey, I'm not sure. Let's try a bunch of different things. It's like, no, it's got to be this.
Let's try to tell a story about a person and create connection.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
That'll never work.
We think we should go with this one. Can she dress a little bit nicer? Okay. Smile. Tell us all your stories about what breads you make at home. No one cares about that as much as they care about the individual. And that's the thing that I think was just, I don't know. That's the thing that I think was just a nice little mix that we finally got to see. To your point, I think Vegas realized they had something and they capitalized on it. And it was just the right time for all of our players that we are seeing now, both in college and now entering into the WNBA. We know a lot more about these individuals, not only because the press is giving us more, but because the league and the NCAA was like, oh, we need to treat this like we treat everything else. Like finally, it was that entry point. And I think that also happened. The one thing that it makes me think about is how disparaging the league was in 2020. In 2020? Yes, in 2020 when, I can't remember her name, but she exposed that the NCAA's practices were completely unequal.
It was their practice space during the March Madness.
It was their practice space.
And
it was their
food.
Their meals. It was even the swag bags that they got.
Yep.
Completely different. There was no investment in the players, both in front of the camera or behind the camera. And that, I think, made a lot of both the NCAA and the WNBA, that being exposed made them have to be held accountable a little bit.
It's extremely embarrassing.
It's extremely embarrassing, right? Like I can do all of these things behind closed doors for sure. But that swing of the pendulum, I think, is what started and catalyzed a lot of things because it's very easy. We've been talking about the difference in pay.
Well, do we know that changed?
What? Yes, they said it's not equal yet, but it has definitely been kicked up a lot more.
Been increased,
sorry,
but not equal.
Before you keep, did you want to say something?
I'm good.
Okay, sorry.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry, I have a lot to say. So,
well, can we go back before we move on to pay?
Yes.
Well, I guess it's kind of transitions into both.
Okay, cool.
Also, even like the college players now being also to have endorsement deals and things of that nature has also helped with us being able to see these players because now brands are now pushing them.
Yeah.
Because even
being able to get paid.
Yeah, that too.
NCAA.
Like, yeah.
Which I'm sure that there's disparity there too.
Oh, sure.
Oh, definitely.
Which would be super ironic considering I literally can't name a men's that played NCAA basketball last year.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I guess going back to these swag bags, I don't know if this happens on the men's side because I don't watch their college basketball tournaments. But even the players gifting, like the bigger players, like Juju and all of them, gifting their teammates with different things from whatever brand they work with.
Yes.
Like I saw her giving her teammates, I think a pair, whatever shoe brand, I don't remember. I think it was Nike, but I could be wrong. Giving all of the teammates like the shoe, like right before their game. I just saw Sid from
gifting the boom
boxes to her team.
Yes.
Like, so it's just like, I don't even know if the leagues are doing or it's just the brands, but like they're getting more stuff, but it doesn't sound like it's from
It's
the
not
schools.
from the, but
yeah,
it doesn't sound like it's from the brand.
or the
It sounds like
NCAA. It seems like the brands are now pushing and like giving the girls nicer things and more things. And
But
Well,
are
they're
they
allowed
giving
to.
it to them or because it sounded like she gifted those things. So it's like if I went out and bought everybody a swag
I don't
bag
think
and gave to
she
you.
bought them. I'm pretty sure the brand gave them to her to give to
Okay.
her
To
teammates.
everybody.
And they
Yeah,
gave them to
fair.
her because she is.
Yeah, it's just a smart brand move.
Got it.
Yeah. No, we also have to, I think that this is all because of the timing of things, because this is also when the NCAA, I don't even remember what the ruling is now, but the students are now allowed to receive this. There was years where that wasn't happening at all, right? So this is all, sure, the brands are also recognizing who the talent is and who they want to put money behind, but I think that, man, the wins have just been perfect for this whole entire thing, right? Because there have been women who've played just as well as these people who are coming up, but they weren't getting paid because they weren't allowed to be paid, right? So all of this is kind of
back pay.
I wish
That part.
Me
Okay.
too. Shit.
Man,
Well, I
like,
mean,
I
my
would
check.
be getting paid in college. Are you joking? Sorry.
I probably would have had a different approach to a lot of things.
Me
in
too.
life.
Not Nicole. Yeah.
I would have had a different approach too.
I might have tried harder, trained a little bit harder.
For sure. I think that's a huge influence. We are not where we
Get
need
chose
to
by
be
the
with
basketball player.
You said what?
I said get chose by the basketball player.
Now
That
you're
would
ready
be
to
my
be a sugar
approach, 'cause
mama
I'm
in
not playing.
college.
Yep.
But that probably
Or
could have been the same
opposite,
for you
sugar baby.
when you came up,
Mm.
unless you want. Never mind.
Mm.
What?
Well,
I'm just
well,
never mind.
Well,
Go ahead. Say.
I'm just saying, if you were trying to chase a check, you could have chased it when we were in college.
Yeah.
It would have been a different check.
Yeah.
Maybe you might have had a little bit more investment, but you still could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I mean, a lot of people do.
that's all I'm saying.
This is true.
If that's your goal, that's all.
I mean,
Nicole said it wasn't in the package she was looking for.
At the time. Hindsight.
So you're talking about pay?
Yes. Well, I think in general where we're at with pay is we
Across the board.
Across the board. Does not mean-
Ones.
Right.
No tens.
None whatsoever. Yeah, I think there is a salary cap on the WNBA pay, which is
Ridiculous.
$253,000.
that's ridiculous.
For the
I have a lot of thoughts.
Right, which is for the season, not
The whole season.
the whole season,
Hmm.
and not just a game, which I think LeBron makes.
Let's not talk about
Okay,
that,
wait.
man.
Wait, I have it on here.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Okay, say your stats.
Breathe.
according to the internets,
Jesus.
allegedly
Mm-hmm.
the player maximum is 208,000.
Oh, I was over.
Not allegedly. Are you on Google's AI?
No,
This information might be from Reddit.
yeah, no, I scrolled down.
Okay, all right.
That's the player maximum allegedly.
Yes.
And I don't know if salary cap is for the team. It's 1.4 million.
Yeah.
It's for the team.
Yes,
Yeah,
for the team.
1.4 million.
So
For the whole team?
Okay. So let's talk about
How
this.
much did LeBron make this
Okay.
year?
They're all
Because
alleged.
it doesn't matter because here's the difference is that there is less money coming into the WNBA league. So the
I'm not
caps,
disparaging
well,
that.
no,
Yeah.
but let me
Yeah.
explain the full
Okay.
spectrum of how
Sorry.
it works because the caps are created to promote sustainability throughout the league.
Right.
So that way, based on the money that they can project is going to come in, that there is year over year a league to be had.
Mhm.
And so like obviously like the sponsorships supplement people's pay and it doesn't, not every person gets a sponsorship from a brand, but it's set like that because the NBA, all leagues have caps. Some of them very different from others, as we know, but it's so comparatively speaking, what was happening with the women's soccer league is that you would have certain teams that would buy out the bar. They would be having very lavish game setups for their season ticket holders. People would be put up in penthouses and other teams, people would be like living with people that just like were comfortable putting up professional players so that they could live in this city for the duration of their season and play without having to pay rent. Those disparities created a lot of issues, across the league, but also created a lot of issues because some teams are draining a lot of money from the league and other teams are saving the league a lot of money. And so that created a lot of instability, which is why the women's soccer league folded and came back twice. So in order to promote sustainability, that's why we have salary caps, and it's lower because the amount of money that's coming into the league is significantly lower. They're playing in smaller stadiums, bringing in less audiences. So things like this, where it's creating an uptick, we're suddenly seeing teams be able to play in large stadiums like the NBA is playing in, will bring more money into the league, and we should see these caps begin to rise. But I just wanted to preface that so that it's just not a 1-to-1. And so like when we start doing what did LeBron make? We're not talking apples to apples.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that is clear and understood before we
it's the
go down
business
this
of
road.
the
The side eyes
sport,
you're getting
so I
on both
understand.
sides is crazy.
I don't know why I'm just side eyes. I'm just providing information.
No, I know that information. It doesn't matter to me. I want them to be paid.
I'm team get
Get
your
your
bag, money
yeah.
get paid. Okay.
I get it. It's the business of the sport. And sometimes in order to keep it in motion, then you have to do what you have to do. So I understand that. But
It's just shocking when you hear it out loud.
For sure.
it is very shocking. But I also think that as supporters of the sport, I mean, we want them, if we continue to show up, then they will continue to get paid.
Yeah. If we show up, if we buy their like packages
Merch.
where you can like watch them, like the WNBA package where you can see every game for blah, 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 whatever amount of money, all of that stuff helps. Buying jerseys helps. Like all of these things are like ways to actually support the people that you think should be getting paid more year over year.
Yeah, they're on top of that. They were just talking about how like the city of Vegas tried to sponsor all the players and give them $100,000, and now the WNBA is looking into it because that was confusing to me. I guess it was because not every team or not every city can do this, and
it's
so
the same thing that I was talking about with like when the Spirit moved down to Miami and they were staying in penthouses. It's that same thing. We can't create equity through this type of movement. All you're doing is creating vitriol between teams because I'm trying to get moved to Miami next year. Like, what do I have to do to be on that team so I can live in a penthouse instead of having to live with this family and I'm in a room in their house instead of like having floor to ceiling windows and have a front row of the beach. You know what I mean? So like, it just like, it doesn't, it's great for that team and no one else.
Yeah. Well, also,
especially if it can't be done for every team that wins by every city.
Right.
Yeah. They're also saying, is it because the WNBA is not getting a cut of this?
Oh no, then that's sick. But I do wonder, because when it happened, because I have this like background, I was just like, I immediately thought of like that Miami thing with like the penthouses, and I was immediately like, I wonder if this was cleared with the WNBA. And I assumed, because if you're going to do something like this on social media, that you're going to clear it with the full league before you do something like that. And so I'm just like, then I expect to see that every year when a championship wins.
Yeah.
Right.
Then this is the new standard. If this is cleared by the league and this is like moving forward, and great. Like that's a great incentive. Like I want to fucking win the championship next year too.
But why would you assume that if the city gave it to them and not the WNBA?
Because, like for the women's league for soccer, sorry, I keep talking soccer because it's what I know.
Speak what you know, girl.
But like, a lot of like if you are, and this is from years ago knowledge, so it might not be true anymore. Maybe they restructured, but from years ago, if you were on the national women's team and you were on, say, Washington Spirit, there's a limit to the number of national teams players you can have on your team, because the national league pays them. Mm-hmm. So their salary
during regular season.
Yeah. So their salary isn't coming out of your city's cap. So like they're being subsidized essentially in like playing for you. Of course they get, whenever they get called up and it's World Cup and whatever, they gotta go. But that kind of helps offset that cost because it's a different bucket of money. Mm-hmm. They are already like set. They're good from like years of winning and having brand deals and all of that. So it was a way to help the league be more sustainable and more equitable across all cities. So I was thinking that like maybe this is something that cities are going to help offset the cost of from the league to help promote a women's basketball in their city and in kind with the league, knowing that we have this, if we have a set aside, however they managed to do it. A lot of the comments in that story were like, if I'm a Las Vegas taxpayer, I'm pissed. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. Maybe, I don't know the bucket of money it comes out of. I don't know if it's taxpayer money. But like, yeah, that first question is, does every city have the equity to be able to do this should their team win? And second of all, if it does, like, then this is like a new norm, and I don't know how that money is coming to be. Like, it's not, I mean, that's $1 million, like, Jesus. Quick. You know what I mean?
In Vegas, $1 million to them is like, I don't know, finding $10 on the sidewalk. Like, they probably make that in an hour.
That's probably also why I was like, if this isn't sanctioned by the league, like, it's going to get drawn. Because what's a other place that they play, like Indiana? How are they going to do that? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like,
they got Caitlin Clark. They're good. No,
they're not. Caitlin Clark is good.
That part. Well, I will say, going back to even when we were talking about like y'all tickets for Caitlin's team, the Indiana Fever, sold out within like moments.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk trash? Because I've been like very professional, but I have things to get off my chest.
Well,
go off, sis.
Rocks off.
Yeah, let's
go off, sis.
Yeah, are we
the
there
amount
yet?
of coverage I've seen about Indiana Fever and the fact that they are like 1-6.
I thought they were 0-4 last time I looked. But who knows?
The amount of coverage I've seen about Caitlin Clark and her team ain't win no national championships.
Well, I mean, that's the reason they have her, because they aren't.
They're trying to get a come up.
Yeah, they're not there.
They're trying to build the team.
Yes.
Well, while we're talking trash,
excel.
we should also talk about that podcast.
Okay. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
So hold on. I don't want to get this very intelligent man's name wrong.
But he's talking about Caitlyn. So
Jeff Teague. He has a podcast called Club 520. And I believe it was on his podcast. He was talking about how the WNBA and these players are doing it wrong. They should be basically not letting Caitlyn win, but allowing her to not doing as much so she looks better, because she is basically carrying the WNBA on her back.
What?
Okay.
Oh,
you have emotions. You have opinions. I got it. So he basically was saying how like everyone's doing it wrong. Like they shouldn't be like blocking her shots. They shouldn't be playing so hard against her. Like kind of like let her be up, because all these eyes are on the WNBA because of her.
Participation trophy much?
Okay. So you feel differently. Tell us how you feel.
Let her win.
Nicole said, hell no.
She's carrying the NBA. Like you worked through your NCAA to get where you are. Why? Like, no, heifer, you got to work for it like everybody else does. Yes, you're great. You're good at your sport. I'm not going to take that away.
Good at bouncing balls. Is that what you're saying?
Not Carol saying shut up and play.
I didn't say that.
However, what I'm saying is you still need to show up and win against your opponent. Like,
but the opponent shouldn't like be easy on her because she's getting
why would anyone be easy on any, like you just want to, that's like showing up and be like, oh, these things should be it's entitlement at its like, finest.
Play the game within the game is what he said.
Get the hell out of here.
That's a very
get the hell out of here.
I don't want to call him stupid, but that's a very dumb take. Also, it's not. She's doing what she does regardless, which is more powerful, right? Yes. So like, I think she just became the third player in her rookie year to score 100 points, have 30 rebounds and 30 assists in the first 6 games. And I think it's Sabrina Ionescu and then someone else. And I can't remember who she probably black. I should know that. Damn.
Look at you. Part of the problem.
I am part of the problem. Because I only remember those two because I was thinking about how interesting it is that that's back to back. And obviously it had been whoever was first, and then Sabrina last year, I think, was her first year in the league. So I thought that was very interesting. But like also we've seen this happen with again, soccer reference, sorry. Lionel Messi joined the MLS, and it's where like everyone who ever played soccer and was very esteemed comes to die. It's the elephant graveyard of soccer. Because no one's gonna play here in their prime because there's no reason to. Everyone here is washed. So they come here to make
as in
the MLS.
Okay.
They come here to make a ton of paper before they go quietly into their good night in retirement years.
Not in their good night.
And that's what Lionel Messi did.
Sorry. And I don't know that much. So he came from where?
I can't remember where he was playing. It wasn't Barcelona. I can't remember Inter Milan. Let me not lie. I don't remember where Lionel Messi was playing before he came.
Overseas, where soccer is up and everyone cares. And then you come to America.
Yes. And
to
he's
die.
playing in... yeah.
Okay.
The Miami team.
America to die.
And I don't know if it may not be that they're doing what Jeff Teagues is recommending, where they're like letting him trounce them. He is good enough to just do it anyways. And he is so esteemed that it might just be like the amount of respect that they have for him, but he is walking circles around them. And I did not say running. And I don't know that it means like, I don't know that it's like helping the league at a large. Like people go to see Lionel Messi play the same way that they went to go see other people that have come from Europe to play here in their like later years. But I don't know that it's like, it's not doing anything for the league.
Yeah. I guess what's confusing to me a little bit about, well, not his take, this is stupid. I don't understand why, for whatever reason with the WNBA in particular, like why there can only be one. Like, we don't have one. It's not just LeBron. It's not, you know what I mean? There's Steph Curry. There's a million NBA players that we name and can love and are doing great. I don't know why everyone's feeling like...
And no one's like, let him win.
Yeah.
So that he can help all of you.
Right. It's just like, can they all just not be great and we love whoever player you want to love outside of... I don't know. It's weird to me that we feel like because it's a women's sport, like why we have to like rally against this one player and she's the great white hope and she's the only reason why the WNBA is going to be successful. Like she's great, but like so are all... You know what I mean? Like it's weird to me that we why in this particular instance there can only be one player.
And can we also acknowledge that they are actually doing that in their press takes, which I think is more important. So like what's happening, instead of like people being like, I don't know why she's getting all this coverage, or I don't know, like while y'all are so focused on her, like her team's not even winning. She didn't even win NCAA championship, blah, blah, blah. Like that's not what's happening. People are like, she is as good as everyone says that she is, but so are other people in this league. And like, we're just excited to be able to get an opportunity for everyone to see and learn about everyone else's story. And that's the opportunity that they're seeing. Yeah, and that's what I think is the bigger takeaway, because again, if you have a one-trick pony, you die on that pony too. You know what I mean? Right. So suddenly if you put all your eggs in that basket and Caitlin Clark gets hurt, then what happens to everyone's interest in the league?
And I think for me, as another added point is, if you can take that as a microcosm of what you can do along the league with your star players, I think that it's not impossible to do. However, this is where I'm kind of finding, like, I understand all of the money things, but I also understand what the league also struggles with is being able to maintain a player for multiple years. They did really well, I don't know, back in the early years of the league, but then I think, I don't know if it was money or I don't know if it was lack of ability to even try, but it felt like there was a lull and people were just moving teams a lot. Like, sure, you had one or two people that may have stayed, but there was no real loyalty with the team. So there was no real loyalty of the team with the player. So there was no real loyalty by the fans. And I feel like
in
WNBA, like I said, there are a few people who kind of stay, but then even then they're never really sure if they're gonna be. Whereas when you have a player like Caitlin come in, or it makes you feel like, all right, the whole league is talking about them on LeBron status, but we know that there are other players that people talk about in the NBA. There's like Mel. I'm thinking of older players. I don't really know any. I don't watch NBA. Melo or
Kevin
Durant. Like these were people who you knew were going to stay in that place for a while because they were being paid to do it.
I mean, kind of,
but not really. But you know what I'm saying? Like better than what I think is happening in WNBA. And I know that there's a reason why they can't do that right now, but I think that they really need to figure out a way to be able to capitalize on these individuals so that there's a way to be able to keep them, so that there's a way to be able to build the fan base. I feel like that's just not something that has really been happening on that level. I'm hoping with Caitlin.
You mean like in a specific city for a long period of time? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know that I feel like that.
Me neither, actually.
Okay.
But I don't.
Okay.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're in a phase now where even with the NBA, like people are like, I like LeBron. It can be LeBron in Miami. It can be LeBron Cavs. It can be LeBron in the Lakers.
I don't disagree with that. I don't mean it from the standpoint of, like, I think Caitlin would be like that, right? But I'm saying from the standpoint of building up the league's viewing. Like, remember when LeBron left for, where was it? He was
Miami from Cleveland.
Yeah.
What was it called? The Decision?
Yeah. But
I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
There was a lot of turmoil at that time. Do you remember those conversations?
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
But people were also buying jerseys so they could burn them.
Right.
It's a lot of money going to the league still.
Right.
True.
That part.
But I don't think that there's been this freedom with that until recently. So I think that the WNBA has to kind of go through that period a little bit just to kind of bring the city together. Because I think that if Sid, if AJ, if I forget the girl's name that you mentioned earlier, left the Aces.
Kelsey?
Yes, if they left the Aces at this time, there'd be some upsetness, but I don't know that them going to another team for sure would mean the building up of that area. I think that the league, personally speaking, has to surround their players the way we're seeing Vegas do that right now. And LA has done in the past, right? With like Lisa Leslie,
Yeah, but you can. Yeah.
I
see what you mean. It's just unless you have a winning team, it's hard. It's hard to do.
It is hard to do, but there is something with like Melo had a winning team, but didn't really go all. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way. So there's a possibility of being able to do it. You just have to find the the right way to be able to do it. And I think what the NBA benefits from is the NCAA really putting a highlight on those players that it can, because LeBron didn't go through the NCAA. But you know what I'm saying? Like highlighting those players in that way so that there's already a trail, like we're seeing with Caitlin right now, moving into the WNBA. And it doesn't matter where they end up. You can build on that person.
Yeah.
I think that there's a way to be.
To your point, I think that that's what's needed. I think it's like more of the personal story aspect will like help actually grow intrinsic interest in players. I don't, whether or not they stay or leave, like, of course, like you want people to stay, but it's like,
but it just builds up the league, I think.
Sure.
I hear what you're saying. I think generationally, I think that's what is shifting. Like, even in regular jobs, our parents are staying in jobs for 20, 30 years because they have a loyalty to the company. Right. So back then it was like loyalty to company, loyalty to your city.
Actually take care of you.
Yeah, but it's like loyalty to your city. So it's like, I'm not a fan of, I love all the players on this team, but I also love the team. So it's like, no matter who's on the team, this is my team. Right. I think now as we shift, we don't stay in jobs as long. Like you said, people are fans of teams, but they're more fans of players. So wherever this player is going to go, that's who I'm now a fan of. So I don't know if it really.
You're saying I'm old. I hear you.
Or you're going to be mad because it still happens, right? Where like like players don't have a choice. So like a lot of times people will leave and they'll be mad at the home team for like, oh, I can't believe that GM like would make that fucking decision. I can't believe you let them go. You know what I mean? Like it still creates interest, even if it's like disinterest.
But I'm still a fan. So like but I'm still a fan of, you know what I mean? So like you haven't lost my viewership or my support. My support has just shifted to another city. So I think we shift as people, like the interest in who we support and how we support is going to change.
Yeah. That happens all the time here. Because
I kind of agree, but I also don't agree with this one reason. So what has not caught up with all of this that you're saying is that I live here. I like the Lions. I can't watch the Lions, even though I love that team, because that person, the team is I'm somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. So,
but you don't love them enough to pay to watch their games.
So you kind of like them.
Because you could watch them.
But here, so
it's just not free.
All right, you know the low entry I was talking about before?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm talking, that's all so again, I'm not disagreeing with any of that, but it makes me think about that, right? So you have to also have this entryway point for the league to get like...
No, I feel what you're saying. Like I can eat like WNBA, I didn't know how to watch until I think I was listening to something. I was like, you have to watch on Ion. I only have Ion because it's free on my Roku TV. Like, I don't even know if I didn't have that TV, if I could access Ion any other way.
I can't. So I'm mad.
Yeah, it's like, and they're only watching so many games that ESPN will choose to broadcast. And then I also saw somewhere, I think I was trying to watch the other day. It wasn't even a live. The game wasn't live. You had to watch it delayed. So I do get what you're saying. Like the entry point, if I'm trying to be invested, I can only be so invested if I don't have the means to pay extra to watch.
And that's another, just to like bring us back home to like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That was something that was highlighted at the very beginning of the season when people were realizing like, I can watch a lot of the Indiana Fever games on these channels, but how do I watch a Chicago Sky game?
Exactly.
And so then they started like, oh, y'all want to see that? Okay, sorry, we'll start airing that. You know what I mean? And so again, we're like talking about like the disparity in like the league actually being behind the audience that they think that they're catering to in terms of what people are interested in. And I think the other beauty in having people, instead of a one-trick pony, you have multiple people that you can kind of glom onto. Yes. You can have choice in who I resonate with more. Right. So like in the very different way that Caitlin Clark is going about her media and her press, Angel Reese is the other end of the spectrum. And I love that. I love seeing her backstage with Meg Thee Stallion and on stage with Glorilla. Like lit. Yeah. Or that's what I want.
Yeah. Or even I just saw a post with her and hugging Kavya. But like before, I can't remember where it was, but like we're seeing her do both. Yeah. Like she's doing a lot of different things.
Because they went to the Chicago game because that's where D Wade's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I also haven't heard, again, because a lot of the media I follow is Black. Does Caitlyn, I haven't heard her talk. So like, has she said how she feels about her being like the face of...
She actually had a really great quote the other day where she was like, people are like, oh, like, how do you feel about, because now it's starting to turn on her, right? Like they're trying to, and that's what the media does. Yeah. So like, it's not anything about her or even people in the league that I feel like is that conversation's actually happening. It's the media trying to create this narrative that's not transpiring. Right. What I think is happening is that audiences are being tired of only being inundated with Caitlin Clark. Yes. And I think that that's a beauty of like what she's bringing to the league, because what people are asking for is variability in the way that we're ingesting WNBA. Right. And so instead, what the media is doing is trying to continuously shove Caitlin Clark down our throat, but differently, by being like, oh, people are getting tired of Caitlin. And I can't remember what the coach of what team, but she was like, no, we're not. Actually stop spinning that narrative. What's happening is we're just okay. Of course it is, because I love her. I love that we're finally getting an opportunity to play in bigger arenas, and that people are getting more shine, and we're actually able to have like the kind of like camaraderie and viewership that we should have been having all along. And that's what we're excited for, and we're happy that she's doing it. If nothing else was going to do it before.
So what did she say?
That's what she said.
That's what Caitlin said.
Oh, no. Caitlin said, sorry, that's what I was going back to. Caitlin, they asked her like, oh, how are you like feeling about like seeing all of this kind of uptick on like how people are feeling about you on social media? And she was like, honestly, I'm not really on social media. My job is to come here and play basketball. And that's what I've been doing. Work. Y'all ask me questions and I answer them. Like, I'm not coming to you with a story to tell. Yeah. Y'all are creating the story from me. So I just kind of love the fact that people are like, I don't know if it's just like media training or if it's just being people and human, and like also knowing kind of that same thing that we talked about Angel Reese, I think, right after the league, where the players are protecting each other in the sense of like, we don't control what the media does, but we know that we've been here from the beginning, and it's our job to preserve how we're going to operate internally and how we are going to make sure that we have like longevity, and that they capitalize on this opportunity cohesively and not like create vitriol and like infighting that would only be demonstrative of league.
Yeah. I think that there's such a need for a story that they're not allowing it to just play out organically. Right. Again, I think that this is people trying to say, this is what I feel, so I'm going to try to narrate this story instead of saying, okay, I feel this way. But really, what is really happening? Yeah. Let me ask the question of like, where are you at, versus trying to get you to spin the story the way I want to spin the story. The league is built of individuals, just like the NBA is built with individuals. Everyone's not going to feel the same. But if you don't allow, I don't know if it's because of the newness of the league, not newness of the league, but like newness in it being seen as a legitimate league finally, right? Like, I don't know if it's that or just the patriarchy being the patriarchy. Like, it could be a little bit of both.
It's more like the media being the media, because everyone wants to soundbite from the one that everyone wants to hear from. And it's getting annoying. Like, it's very annoying. Because I think even after the first Indiana game, they lost, obviously, because they're 6-1. I think they just won their first game like last week. And the media interview was of Caitlin Clark. And I was like, I've never seen a sports game where after the game, the first interview is the losing team. Right. Yeah. I've never seen that. I literally can't think of a time I've ever seen that.
They may be queuing them up to come after the winners, but it's never like,
we see them at the press conference, like after everyone's been to the locker room, they come out, why did you miss that shot? They still be asking stupid questions, but at least they ask them after they have some time to process what happened. I don't want to hear from her. I want to hear from the person who hit the game-winning shot on the other team.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Again, but that's people's entryway into this is based on the media, but the media is chasing behind what they believe already in their head. And maybe that's from other media, or maybe that's people just saying, oh, I want a bandwagon on whatever's already in an uptick. Right. But it's like, if you're not answering organic questions, how do you even know when the tide has shifted?
Well, because they don't. Everything's for like media is like based on Q ratings. And it's like, it's very annoying because the Q rating can only exist after people have gotten shine. So like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy as opposed to it being like, what is the actual interesting story to tell here? You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to get the thing that's going to get the most views, the most clicks, the most replay, rather than like, what's the story no one's telling? Like, that's not a question media I mean, journalists ask themselves that, but in terms of like
trying to get
clickbait
money,
media, that's not what they're asking themselves.
It's reminding me of the 2020 election. Good God.
Oh, God.
Right.
Let's not.
Yeah, right.
Just
Like, that was
talk about that.
I'm just
Trauma
saying
responses.
that's where we're
Stress.
at. That mindset of unfortunately negativity in the spin in which is highlighting the most vitriol is what we are seeing. I don't know. I have to I don't know about y'all, but I have to follow a page that's like everything is good on this page.
Timeline cleanse.
Yes, just to get my head.
For sure.
Yes.
I think I follow a page that's like good. Like, this is my speed.
Yes.
That's why I had to unfollow like Shade Room and all that stuff.
Yeah, right, for sure.
But before we wrap up, maybe we should talk about, there are some things that are happening, like the benefits that the Caitlin Clark effect, as like you were saying, which is like chartered private jets, I guess, that are like maybe. And is that something that she had in college? Like,
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yes.
humbling.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Never
we
flown
were
private in
chartering
my-
jets,
Imagine
right?
going pro
37.
and then being like, this is a downgrade.
That's
Like,
what I was saying. Like, wow, she really back to the ghetto.
that's why they keep but that's why women
yeah.
play all 4 years in college.
Carol would be like,
Yeah,
I quit.
because
Why would I leave?
Why would I
Yeah.
leave? And you have to think about this, right? This is the reason it's private. People, they do private isn't just because it's the fastest and easiest way to be able to do some things, but you also are invested in the players enough to make sure that their psyche is okay so that they are in the zone before the game.
Nah.
Can you imagine trying to get through TSA the day before? Like, we would have to
I'm
leave
sick.
2
I
to
can.
3 days
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Because I used to
that
do
I
it
could-
with ball bags going
Yeah.
through the airport.
Yep.
Oh. How was that?
PTSD on Frontier.
Oh.
Oh.
How was your back
Dang.
before the game? Because I'd be like, make sure we have multiple.
I don't honestly, this is a traumatic event. I don't want to talk about it. It's fine.
Not to find y'all frontier
We had there was times where we didn't have planes, where we just had to drive
yourself.
I did that in
3
college.
minivans and a coach that could
Mm.
barely keep it together.
Oh, yeah. Those are good times. We should talk about that later.
I'm sorry, Stan.
Off air. It's
Yes,
fine.
off air.
But I think that I just kind of want to make sure that we hit home on the point of
the good things.
What?
The good things.
Well, the good things, but also the aspect of the difference between being tired of Caitlin Clark and being tired of the media pushing Caitlin Clark. And is that what's which is happening? Are you tired of Caitlin? Are you tired of the media just pushing Caitlin? Why is the media pushing Caitlin? Would you prefer to hear from other people? Like, that aspect, I'm very curious to hear from you guys on.
Oh, well, clearly I'm not hearing from her. That's why I had to ask you guys what she said.
Fair.
So
All right, so Angel Reese for you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like Angel Reese, I'm seeing a lot of her. Like I said, I just started following some other players, so I'm getting to see more of who they are as different people. But knowing what she said, and even recently, and even what she was saying about Angel Reese before, with the whole the ring thing and them trying to make them to arch nemesis in the media, she never seems to play into whatever narrative the media is trying to push her into, at least from what you guys have said and what I've heard from her previously.
There is one recent tweet where I was like, oh,
So you are on social media?
is it starting to happen?
What did it say?
Me?
No, her.
Oh, no, because it's not Caitlin. It was Angel.
Oh, okay. That's what I was saying. So Caitlin specifically,
Okay.
she seems to just be like, I'm here to do a job and I'm going to do my job.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like I think Angel enjoys the tussle a
Yeah,
little
she
bit.
gonna clap back.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
and I feel like you can have both, but I'm not tired of Caitlin Clark. I think it's the coverage that is starting to get a little bit annoying. But again, my media, I'm not following. Well, I am following ESPN and WNBA, but I'm also following, like I said, people that are really pulling and pushing for Angel and more of the Black players or players of color. So I don't know. I'm not tired of Caitlin yet.
I don't watch enough ESPN to be tired, or most of the coverage I see is either on social media as I scroll, or of areas watching the playoffs of ad nauseum, or games back to back,
Or ESPN back to back.
and then I see or the news that is pushing that narrative, which aggravated me a little bit. I'm like, why? Because back to what we discussed earlier, why does it have to be just one person? Why can't it be a multitude? And including the draft and having that conversation, not necessarily sick of her. Well, I'm not completely sick of her.
It's
but
just it's getting close.
It is getting close
Wrap it
because
up.
I'm tired of hearing the back and forth between this player and that player. Like, just let them play, let them be great, let them make their money. Because at the end of the day, they're still rookies. Like, I think people need to remember that. There's still, like you said, there's other players that have been playing the game that are great at the game that they still have to contend with.
And I wonder what that's like, because I could imagine being maybe in my like 4th or 5th year of the league and seeing like all of this uptick all of a sudden of these girls that have never even proven themselves on a professional court and be sick of these hosts.
Yes.
So, and to
I
that
feel like
point,
they do that
for sure.
Yeah.
To that point, there was this game the other day. Sky was playing. I can't remember what team they were playing. This girl, a center on the other team, Asia Thomas, took Angel down by her throat.
Yeah.
And got a flagrant 2. And I was just like, that was personal.
Yep.
I don't.
It was.
She didn't help her up. She didn't see if she was okay. I was like, girl,
It was.
the sis is pissed off.
It might have happened early in the game,
definitely
or it might have been
taunting
something
them.
else, but it.
Same thing with
She meant it.
Caitlyn when they're, I forgot who it was, but I think I sent you guys like the screenshots of Caitlyn being like,
Yeah.
Because they, like,
that was
knocked her down the-
Becky Hammond.
Oh.
Yes.
Uh,
yes. Yes.
I can't
Her
remember.
name gotta be Becky, though.
But that was just a screen.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the players,
I've never seen someone get folded up by a screen like that.
but the players that are in the league are definitely being like,
welcome.
Prove
yeah.
yourself.
Like, y'all just got here.
It's definitely
They-
giving like Love and Basketball when she went to college.
Yes.
Homegirl was.
Yes. Let's see what you really got.
Yeah, it's giving. We're about to break you in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think to answer your question, no, I don't get tired of the Caitlyn in the situation. For me, I think that she recognizes that people have chosen her versus, the league or anybody else really choosing her to have this effect. And so she's just like, I
didn't ask.
I
for
didn't
this,
choose
but,
this life, the life chose me.
Yes, type scenario. And she recognizes that she's just a player in a league that is really trying to grow.
Yeah.
And that's what I respect about her. I don't hear a lot from her. As to Carol's point, besides them really bugging her about after game stuff, but for the most part, she's not on social media. She doesn't do a whole bunch of back and forth. And to me, that's a nice balance. Let's just keep it at that. You do the game, they do the stupid stuff that I don't care about. The league and
She's
and
still
media.
doing this, or did Angel kind of break her from that?
You can't do that when you're a rookie and you have
haven't
nothing.
won one. What are you pointing at?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does she have some other?
You're still pointing on your
Does she have some
NCAA
other-
career
something
and you
else that she
retired
does,
from
like-
the WNBA.
I don't know. She have another move?
Well, there was. Did y'all hear about this action?
The heart?
Oh, yeah.
With who?
Okay, I'll explain that in a second.
No, so to long story short, I feel a way about media. I don't feel a way about Caitlyn. But another point, that second point y'all brought up, Candace just left. Candace Parker just left the game. And
Yeah,
for
I
me, that was kind of heartbreaking because I was like,
Like
I
this
really-
year, give us one with
right,
like,
yeah.
give us a crossover year.
Just one. I just wanted, I just really would have loved to have seen her in that. And so I don't
Her
know.
going, like, imagine her versus Angel. Like, I would have.
Been great.
Love to see it.
Would have been so great.
Yeah,
I would
So,
have watched that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's bittersweet, but
Not that being the rubric. I would have watched it.
but since they're not doing it, I won't be watching anything at all.
I might watch a little bit,
A
but
little bit. Yeah. No, I
not a
just
full game.
that was man, that was sort of bittersweet to hear. But at the same time, I can only imagine what that's like for me, thinking about the way she's played in her career, and then to know that somebody's coming in who, at your backswing of your career, and you're just like, do I really want to be? I don't want to talk about this little girl all day. Let me just go ahead
this
and
little
jump
girl,
on out.
yeah.
I mean, just being real, like I could see that not being worth it for some players. Of her caliber, because everybody else, I think, was trying to get to her.
Sure.
well,
caliber.
I mean, also just throwing us in about Candace Parker. I'm sure she's probably making more money commentating than she. So
Oh, for sure. She's yeah. Well, there's no cap. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah. Regardless.
But hopefully, I mean, you hear about women in sports broadcasting all the time too. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I hope so, though.
I mean,
She better be.
right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. I'm pretty sure Harry told me that she's making.
Did you look it up?
No, I wanted to know how
Oh.
much tickets were for Indiana versus Chicago Sky for the Mystics.
$28.
No, so for
girl.
a Section 100 ticket for
Can we not afford it?
No, listen, a Section 100 for the Mystics versus the Chicago Sky are $85. Indiana Fever 100 section, $400.
Get the hell out of
Out
here.
of here.
$400 for 100 section.
No, that's
Y'all
panic.
got me.
Yeah, them tickets for Fever were
Sorry, 200. Sorry. I did see 4 last time. Oh no, so here's another one. 100
okay.
section 389.
That's someone is that someone trying to flip a ticket?
Yeah, most of
Maybe.
them they've
A
sold
resale.
out.
Well, the standard ticket's is $275.
Okay, well,
They're
I'll
not
take
sold
that.
out for the Fever.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, well then I had talked about it with friends and they were like, oh, they already had sold out.
Well, they might have been when they were at the other place. They just moved it.
Oh,
They moved it to Cap
thank
1.
you. Okay,
Yeah.
because I was like, we talked about this because we were all talking about where we wanted to go.
I damn sure am not playing Beyonce money to go see Caitlin Clark.
You damn right.
Okay.
We can go see Angel Reese for
I didn't pay
$175.
Beyonce money to go see Beyonce. I sure as hell ain't fitting to pay Beyonce money to go see these hoes. Not when I can watch the replay.
I'm
or
sick of you.
ESPN.
Not when I don't even watch it regular.
Right.
At home for free.
If anything, I'm gonna be at the snacks end like this. Get out of here.
Okay. Just to answer the question, I am not sick of Caitlin Clark. I am sick of the media's coverage of her. I'm just like tired of the disparity of like seeing her in facets that we would never be hearing from a player in that realm. Like the
Right.
same way that I was talking about, like after a game where she lost, we're hearing from her first. Like that is very annoying to me. There's a very clear disparity there. It's very clear like favoritism. I don't like that. I think that that's very annoying. And I think that that can create issues within the league that I don't want to see transpire. However, I will say that I am very happy that she is like not a Ja Morant with this type of power. I love that she is like very metered and professional, and she acknowledges the responsibility that comes with this level of entertainment. But I also love the spectrum. I love that we're getting to see variability and people with different personalities get shine, and that we have an opportunity to have our LeBron and our non-media trained aunt. Like, I love that. I love that there is polarity there.
Yes.
About this, it was so there was like some after game or some press conference that she was doing in Indiana, and I guess she does this after her games to her family. And so one of the journalists was asking her a question. I mean, he's like, well, first, I just want to say I'm really happy that you're here and did this. We can't see him. We're looking at her.
Right.
And so she's like, oh, you like that? And he's like, yeah, I love that. She's like, yeah, I do it to my family after games. And he's like, well, if you do it to me, then we'll be off to a great start.
Oh, I did see about that.
And he got
Creep?
fired from, not from his job, but from being able to go to press conferences and like ever basically talking to Caitlin Clark again.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It was it's just like, men, you know what I mean? Choose the bear.
Right.
That's where we're
Look at
at.
y'all learned.
She's the bear. I'm not gonna lie. After having a plethora conversation,
I've been chose the bear.
Team bear.
I think I might have. I see the light. I do.
No, I see the light. That's all I've been seeing. Anytime that there's like something on social media where a man's acting up, a bear would never do this.
Every time,
so
man.
funny.
Anyway,
all right, should we move along? Do we feel like we've exhausted the topic? This is the most I've talked about WNBA in eons. This kind of lit me up a little bit. I feel happy about it.
My whole life, all my life.
Besides y'all in the group chat.
Well, welcome to the space.
I live for
Glad
that.
y'all are here.
Yeah, so we should definitely plan to go to a game.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Let's do it.
I'll be outside for that.
Okay. Bless.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Look at God.
Yeah.
And Angel Reese bringing forth opportunity.
Yep.
That's the thing. Do we wear an Angel Reese jersey? Do we get a Mystics jersey to wear?
I'm gonna get an Angel Reese jersey. Probably.
I'll probably get a Mystics one.
I think
for longevity.
I want both.
True. Why we gotta choose?
Okay, both
But
of them.
I can't wear both to the game.
You could
Why don't you
cut
do a
them
double
and then
one?
sew them
Wow.
together.
Like the
That-
Kelsey mom does.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
What is happening?
Just chaos.
Well, one thing we're gonna do though
Is
is
tangent.
Okay. If you didn't have morals, what would you do?
a plethora of things.
Go ahead, run your
List
list.
them
sis.
off.
Oh no, I feel like I always go first and I end up looking real crazy. So someone else go first.
Okay. Sorry, you go first, sis.
Not the safe option. Not,
I don't know. If
not
this is safe.
minister.
Oh yeah. She is safe.
Safe, she ain't safe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can go.
If you didn't have morals.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think.
Oh, Carol, do you already have one?
Yeah, for sure.
Go.
I think not that these people do not have morals. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me in my personal life and
There's a line.
there is a line that I would be a stripper.
Oh, okay.
I've seen what they do.
Okay,
and what
listen,
they
they
can
are
do.
very athletic and
Yeah, I
flexible.
mean, I'd have to take a lot of
Even
classes.
with
I feel
morals.
first, but
Wait, that's their line?
no, I'm saying for me personally. I'm not saying they don't have morals. I'm just saying for me, my personal.
Yeah, no, I
Life.
understand that.
Okay.
Nicole thought you were going to go harder, is what she's saying.
Yeah.
So what would you do? What is your line?
Right. Where is yours?
OnlyFans and stripper were my two.
Feel free to share.
Yeah, I would definitely do OnlyFans.
What would you do on OnlyFans?
Make money?
How?
How people make money on OnlyFans?
I mean, I've seen them do
Would
a
you do it with
plethora of
clothes on?
things.
Would there be a bag on your head? Are you identifiable?
No.
So you
So
are.
it's Nicole. Everyone knows.
No. I
Oh.
said would anyone know? And I said no.
Oh, okay.
What would
Sorry.
you do on OnlyFans is the question. Answer
Whatever
the question.
I'm gonna get paid for.
Oh my gosh, you being
Whatever.
so vague is like odd.
Is
You
that
could
bad?
probably
'Cause I
do
feel
a
like
feet
that was
one.
like
No,
a
I want
lot.
her to say it.
You should try a feet one, I think. You have nice toes. So they're always done.
Oh,
They gotta have
thank you.
lotion on them first.
Oh.
Yeah, I would.
I don't know. Some people might like ashy feet. That
Actually,
could be.
King.
there is
Yeah,
a, there
that could be
is
like
there's a
thing.
category
You know
for
what? I
people
guess that's
who
my
like
line.
ash.
Why do you know that? Why do you know that?
She
I
looked it up.
heard.
No, you looked
I
it up. You looked it up. You on the feet section of
My God.
OnlyFans for sure.
Found your subreddit.
Right. Nicole was like, I already know what I would do because I looked it up.
I'm really surprised by y'all. I
Market
would rob
research.
banks. Like I would be like a
Yeah, but you would
multi-level
get caught,
scammer. How me?
No, not you personally, but I'm like that.
I don't
That's
do
an
anything that
easy.
can die.
It's not easy to rob banks anymore. Like it's not
Yeah,
a Bonnie
let
and Clyde.
me get my
era.
shit off really quick.
Go ahead.
I would rob shit. I would also be the person that like did those scams to old people where they have to be warned after they've been going on for a year.
Okay, JT.
Listen, I'm
Gone
telling you,
hard.
because to me, half of the reason that the world is where it is because boomers fucked it up. So if that's how I got my lick back, by taking this boomer money and putting it in my pockets without morals, like, well, somebody gotta get paid. These scams be working. And I don't know that because I don't be doing them. But that's what I would be doing if I didn't have morals. I would be getting paid.
So
Mine got
Tiff
to
took
eat.
mine.
I mean, I was getting paid
I don't have
too.
nothing else
Yeah,
to
we were all
say.
getting paid just different ways. I wasn't robbing old folks.
Yes.
They were giving me their money willingly.
You said no
we said,
morals.
I know. So
What-
you don't
what
have
else
to judge
are we
me and answer
supposed
my question.
Right.
Ho? On the pole? God damn. Not ho on the pole.
Even my no moral self got a little bit of morals.
What?
I'm committing crimes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know that I had included boomers into mine, but scamming was like the first thing that came up for me.
I mean, it happens every day.
And to y'all's
And
point,
most
Well, no,
other thing
no,
is
go ahead.
most times people get their
defend
money
it,
back
please.
because
Defend it.
all this
Or the
money is
money is
FDIC
fake,
insured.
yeah.
So it's really not even harming anybody. It's just scamming the bank that be
Tiff.
scamming you all the time.
Tiff, stop talking. It
No,
sounds like
I'm
you're-
not.
It
Because I'm
sounds
not
like
going to do it. I'm too chicken and I don't want to go to jail.
Okay.
But
I was about to
if
say,
I
it
did
sounds
not
like
have
you're
morals, that is
admitting
where I
to
would
crime.
be like spending my mind.
I just don't know why you're very passionate about this fake
Because I
scenario.
think about how we get scammed all the time and we can't do nothing about it. We just got to lay
Take
back
the
and
L.
take it.
You know-
I would be...
You know who I would steal from though? Like I would do insurance scams because those people are the ones that really, really deserve.
so anyway, we getting the money. We
I mean,
getting up.
everything comes back to getting money for sure.
Yes.
Like insurance companies in general.
Is it
My only thing about with stripping, you can't scale. Like it's your body on a pole for a certain number of hours. If I'm running scams,
Why can't
I can have
can't scale?
like
So
I can
only
do two
you
girls.
can do it.
like we discussed earlier, why can't we do
if
both?
you own a place, then you can scale. But if you are the stripper, like there's no way to scale that. If I'm running scams, like you can have there's those places
definitely
where
a way to
all the
scale.
people
First, I
calling.
start off with just me on the pole. Then it'd be me and my friends on the pole.
Then I get pregnant and then I buy a baller, get
Sorry.
myself set.
Scalable.
Yeah, and then I open the place. Duh.
Sorry,
You didn't see the full vision.
Yeah,
Tiff.
you didn't. You didn't let me get mine off.
my bad. Thought you went. Just
Oh,
Just trying to.
Yeah, it definitely ends with scamming someone very rich and wealthy. Duh. If I didn't have morals.
They have to roll into their non-morals, apparently. We just start. You said no morals.
A second ago, you told me I was wrong.
Right.
Now, no, I'm going to do that too.
Just eventually. I have to get to that
Well, you told me I wasn't
level
going
of
to scale, and I had to tell you that I would.
I'm just trying to look out for your longevity, sis. That's all.
Oh, all right.
Is it interesting that all of us chose the moral line that we were going to cross as something that equated to money?
No, because what other way is
Why
there?
else would I be having
have morals?
not having
But
morals?
What is the benefit?
Not all your morals are laying with kind of.
I would be very concerned if someone in here was just like, "Well, I would murder someone
I'm okay.
to get their money." No,
Can I have?
But I was also going to say,
I'm
so
gonna be
like-
honest. One of mine would have been I would have been assassin, like an assassin
For fun.
for paid money.
Well, there we go. I was wondering because I figured it might get there, or
Yeah, I would definitely
one
be
of the
down because
morals
I'm
is not
a really
having
good
sex
shot.
with other people's husbands, wives, or like.
Ew.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, the moral line is not only money. But it was very interesting that we all.
Oh, listen, there's got to be any reason. I don't.
I mean, I'm not
Not just
surprised
trying
that
to
you would murder people
skis
for
on
fun.
people's
Like, that's not surprising
Oh,
to
I'm
me.
sorry. I had moved on. I'm sorry. We'll
Sorry.
go back. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
I'm
sorry. No.
No.
I
That's
just
fine.
looked at Carol's face and I was like, "Wait!" I felt like
You still there, sis?
judgment.
Yeah.
No, it's not judgment. I'm just like, do I get scared? Or like, that you would
You're
murder?
protected.
I feel like
I'm
the
glad I'm on this side of
assassin's
the wall.
friends are okay.
But what if
Both of
someone...
me don't know.
Well, but what if someone was
what's
like...
the line?
But what if they're like,
line
I will give you
here? Right.
$17 million to murder everyone on this podcast?
I wouldn't do that.
You would?
Yeah, because there's
said
a
no.
moral to
what?
not having
No.
morals.
What?
No, I'm saying there's morals to not having morals. Like I would be.
There's still a code.
So that's
Yeah, it's still
A
there's
billion.
still a assassin's
okay.
code.
Okay, it's a code, but not.
Why
a
do you
moral.
want your friends killed?
Listen,
I don't. I didn't say I would murder
murder
people.
wasn't on the table for me, but for $1 billion, well,
Nah. Love you, hoes, but no.
You just gather my thing.
Sick of y'all.
Okay, I feel like maybe we should move on before we
Yeah.
get flagged.
Please. Stop her. Colie's Corner. Well, today's Colie's Corner comes from a longtime listener. And apparently a first-time caller that called
I
in
really wish we could have callers.
to give their question, if you will. Really, they just wanted to have us run back and clarify some things, if that's okay with us.
Oh, okay.
Of course it is.
We cool with that?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that they wanted clarification on is thoughts on Cowboy Carter post-release favorite songs, etc.
Favorite songs? Oh, I gotta pull
Yeah,
it up.
yeah.
I just know that that's going to be somewhere on a like award show stage this year.
Yeah, that's not my favorite. I like Tyrant.
The Tyrant is mine too.
And like
Let
the
me-
Tyrant, Desert Eagle.
I don't ever know
What
the
is the other
names
one
of
after
songs,
that?
so let me pull up.
Sweet
Are you
Honey
pulling up the
Buckin'?
list?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Sweet Honey Buckin'. I also like Riverdance and Jolene. do
I like Jolene.
Oh, yeah. Second favorite
definitely
is Jolene.
I like
Yes.
Blackbird too. I think
I like a good classic.
I wanted to like that
Jolene.
song, but because I was like, where is everybody? For like the first 12 times I listened to it,
Tyrant's last, so it's Hands to Heaven. So it's Desert Eagle, Riverdance, Hands to Heaven, Tyrant. I like that whole like.
Okay.
I think Two Hands to Heaven. I like that song.
I like how you were saying it.
The dance is my favorite.
I hope this answered your
I just
question.
like that she did it.
Y'all answered. Did y'all shout out your favorite post-release Cowboy?
I was so excited
Carter?
about the album post.
I think that, I mean, I'm almost positive. Was it? No, never mind. That was a different person. But somebody was like, I think the whole album is just good. So if you're someone that just likes the whole album, then
I like it. I don't know if I love it as much as Renaissance for me personally.
I don't think I can listen to it straight through. Plus, I like
I
listen.
can't.
It's
I'll
a
listen
lot.
to it and then I'll listen to the Renaissance again. And I'll be like, whew.
it's a lot to listen
I
to.
definitely
all the time.
I skip to the songs that I love on Cowboy Carter. Renaissance.
You listen to all
No
of
skips.
this?
Well, I skipped the first song. And then I keep
forgot.
going.
Yeah, I think I don't know. This one got more listens already than Renaissance for me. And it's not that I don't like Renaissance. I think I have to be like, I listen to Renaissance when I'm like I don't know, trying to go out or do something, and I don't do that as much anymore. So it's more so like a calm thing where like I'm just riding around. I kind of it just feels like a riding. That's what it is.
It is
It's
a riding
album for me, and so there's just a lot of for me first time of me really enjoying the switch up in how she's singing. Not to say that she doesn't do that other times, but this one just felt, I don't know, just, you know, I'm not a ballads girl anyway. So that's like, there's not a lot of ballads on this one.
It's not a lot on Renaissance either, but I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
I did leave work one day and then it was like hot finally and I put my windows down and I put on Bodyguard and I was like, yeah.
Oh,
That's
I
my
like
third
Levi.
favorite.
I like Levi jeans too. I forgot about that one.
Jolene is probably second just because your piece depends on how you move. Will forever be one of my favorite quotes on a song.
I do like that she came out like.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so now that I'm looking at you scrolled a little fast. You know, I'm old. But Protector, I love Protector, me personally.
I do like Protector.
And I just like the how the music moves in 16 carriages. I don't necessarily love it because I feel like it might be a little, people play it a lot because I think it's just the song. But
I still really like 16.
I do like it a lot just because of
Yeah. It sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's very,
also,
very good.
like sleeper for me, Alligator Tears.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
I need
why.
to go back to it. It isn't like in my brain. But also, Beyonce, what are you doing, sis? Are you gonna give us a visual full album? Are you going on tour again? Are you you're trolling us for sure? But like, what is next?
Also, who are these people that like are like, oh my God, her website changed. Now it directs us to Ticketmaster. I'm like, do you check it every day?
Yeah.
Do you have like a
Yes,
reminder
they
on your
do.
phone? Like what
Did
goes
you see
on?
people that were like checking like the
code?
code
Yes.
and different things to see what it says? I'm like, y'all are dedicated.
Oh, this is still Act 1 because you can see right here in the code where it says Act 1. That's how we know that this isn't even Act 2.
Yeah, like Jesus
It's like-
Christ, y'all are committed. But
So
yeah,
we
Beyonce,
found out
please.
the acts from people looking online, or we found out.
No, we
from the
guessed.
album?
Beyonce told us the truth.
Oh, okay. I had no idea people could went that deep, but hey.
No, because I think
We
we
appreciate
thought
you.
the movie was Act 2 because
Yeah.
I think she put it. She probably tricked everyone because they knew people checked this stuff. I think she put Act 2 in there, but it wasn't actually
Oh, I
Act
thought
2.
you put Act 1 in there. I just assumed because it was like the culmination of Act 1 that it was still the same act.
And I thought there was something that said Act 2, and that's what people thought. Because originally it was like, is the album Act 1 and the tour Act 2 and the movie Act 3? Like that was like maybe one conspiracy theory. And then she dropped this album. So I was like, oh, are we getting 3 distinct albums that are going to be the different acts, which looks like that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But again, I'm tired of guessing. Just want to know if we're going to the concert in Chaps or not.
Okay.
Or what are we doing?
Are you ass out or no?
Depends on time of year.
Okay.
Oh,
That's fair.
That's a smart answer.
That is very fair.
I was
Okay.
like, yes.
I will say that's not the second question. And yeah. So the second one, I really okay. Our longtime
we can
listener
save it for
wants
next
to-
time if we.
That's what we'll do
Okay.
Wow.
because I'm stressed.
Okay.
Wow.
Christ.
Should we look at it ahead of time? What is happening?
Yeah, after we finish this.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah. Okay. Well, time for Afroshade.
Meme of.
Oh, meme of the week.
All right, pause because I forgot that I have a job.
Oh.
That works.
We can skip it if you want. This episode is running long.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
No
Nicole-
meme of the week this week.
Okay, we'll cut that.
Afroshade.
And we're back.
And we're back. Thank you,
Afroshade.
listeners, for sticking with us this long. So we move on to the next segment is Afroshade.
Who are we affirming? WNBA players?
Caitlin Clark.
Audience?
Absolutely not.
Media?
Oh, I think we should affirm either women's sports or in particular the WNBA.
Yeah, sports. Okay.
Well,
Why
I mean,
did that-
hey, I think that there's a large amount
You
of
ever hear that?
No.
Oh, a lot of times
the
when
beginning of a video game.
a lot of times when women are at games and they're like, they'll be like at a football game because their husband's there. They don't know what's going on.
Oh,
They'll be like, "Yay, sports!"
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
It's like a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got
Sorry.
it. I got it now.
Okay. Anyone?
So is that okay? Is that what we're
Yeah,
doing?
that's works
Okay.
for me.
All right. Who wants to go first? All right. So, boom. I want to affirm for our listeners that this just reminds me that when it's your time, it'll be, everything will align for a better good. I think with watching these sports, these women's sports, where we're at right now, thinking about like my mom playing and only being able to play like, you know, maybe in PE or gym, and it maybe moving a little bit to outside of that, but there was really hardly any abilities for women to play sports. And look at where we're at right now. And if you're alive during this time, the alignment is like so perfect to how we're seeing soccer, we're seeing women's basketball taking off in ways that we've known for a long time should have been happening, but the alignment of how God has worked everything out so that these things are kind of just culminating into this beautiful transition. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. So I just want to say for our listeners that when the timing is right, things will align themselves for a greater good and so that all can win. And I think that's what's happening right now. So remember that when you're moving through life. I think that your hard work, your perseverance, and a lot of God is what allows some things to move into that right space. So just wait for him to work it all out, because I know he will.
I guess I can piggyback off that and say that whatever is for you, and no one can take that away from you. And I'm hoping that all of the women that are athletes and playing sports and things, and they're seeing this surgence of a lot of coverage and money being poured into it, really can take advantage of the different opportunities that are coming their way. And that no matter what other people might be saying about who you are and what you're doing or whatever, that whatever you have is already stamped for you and no one can take it away.
I'm going to affirm to athletes in general, I mean, obviously women athletes specifically, that in a world where we as women are put against each other all the time, just remember that the team doesn't work unless you operate as one. And yes, there might be certain individuals that have certain roles that may get you a little bit more shine, but just recognize that some plays are not made without your teammates.
Oh, I love
and
that.
Everyone has a role to play.
Everybody has a role to play. And that in that moment, it doesn't have to just be one person, like we mentioned earlier. Like, it doesn't just have to be one person who's getting all the shine, because ultimately it takes all of us to make the collective. So just remember that. Remember that even if you're getting the shine or not getting the shine, that you're still a part of the overall team.
I love that.
Amen.
Man, that just like took me on a journey. Also, I want to affirm that in this space where we're seeing an uprise in women's sports, I think we've seen it before with soccer, and it has been more like a bubble in certain areas because it's been around the Olympics. I'm hoping that this is more of a true trajectory and we're finding ourselves in a new space. And with that, I just want to highlight that there are other areas where women's voices are less heard that will be looking more for women's voices. So if you are right now like honing a craft, creating a podcast, trying to like make sure that you are like creating a space or being a point of authority in women's sports, whether it be like a podcast or a radio show, or topping off your interviewing skills, getting in spaces where you can be around more women's sports, more women athletes. If you're building a brand, if you are trying to like do things that are sport adjacent, this is a great time for you to be like building and growing your craft, because there will be secondary opportunities that come out of this rise. And so I just like really want to highlight that. And it, like what Saya was saying, like God's timing is perfect. And if you're doing what you are supposed to be doing and are just like ready to receive the opportunities when they present themselves to you, like that's how you'll know that you are in the right place at the right time. So keep working on all of your other things that are not right in the forefront right now, because your time is coming.
Yeah. And I love the people that are doing it their way and not like the traditional way. Yeah. Like it's Mel like on Instagram, how she's like giving us like the play-by-play on women's sports, but like in a very different, like how girls need to hear sports kind of thing.
The drama.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I'm loving it. So I agree. Yep. Do it your way.
All right.
Until next time, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.